Okay, so this is describing a neutralization reaction by titration, and it tells me here that they're using methyl orange as the indicator, and we're adding it first of all to ammonia. Remember, ammonia is going to be a pH of 8 to 14. Okay, so it wants me to describe the color change at the beginning. So initially, when it's in the ammonia, it will be yellow, and as it is neutralized, it will become an orange color. You can get 1 mark for each of those points in there. Okay, next. Ammonia solution is neutralized. We get ammonium sulfate. Complete the balance equation for this, right? So something we've got to remember here is that the ammonium ion is NH4 plus, and a sulfate ion is SO4 2 minus. This wants to make one bond, this wants to make two bonds. Swap them over, so my NH4 gets a 2, so I've got to put it in brackets and put a 2, and then my SO4 gets a 1. So that's the first bit done. If we just check, this side here I've got 2 nitrogens, and I've only got 1 here. So if I start by putting a 2 in front of here, what that will do is give me 2 nitrogens, but also gives me 6, 7, 8 hydrogens. So let's just check over here. 2 times 4 is 8 hydrogens, that's okay. 1 S is okay, and 4 O's is okay. So we've got a balanced equation for 2 marks. They're going to give you 1 mark for getting that correct, and then 1 mark for working this formula out correctly. Okay, again, read the information carefully. It's describing to you how they carried out a titration, and it wants you to give, and be careful of practical steps in order to get more accurate reading. So, looking at what they've done, they haven't used a white tile. So I would say use a white tile. And then we need to explain why using a white tile is better. This makes it easier to see the color change at the end point. Okay. Something else, a simple thing in there that you haven't described is swirling the flask. So as you add the chemicals together, you swirl the flask. Why do you swirl the flask? Because it helps the chemicals to react. There's 4 marks. The way it's going to go is 1 mark for what you've said, and then 1 mark for explaining your thoughts on that particular point. Okay, carrying on. So here we've got to describe how we would produce a dry sample of the ammonia. Now remember here, this is a solution. This salt is soluble. So what I'm going to have to do first is the first step would be to evaporate the solution. So we evaporate the solution so the salt starts to form. Then we allow the salt to crystallize. So we heat it up, we then take the heat away and just allow the heat to cool. And then what we need to do is put the crystals between 2 layers of filter paper to dry. 3 marks, 1 mark for each bullet point